Hello everybody, Walter here. Welcome to episode 25 of my Let's Play series for Satisfactory 1.0. In the last episode we finally automated the production of high-tier items like turbo motors and supercomputers, and today I would like to concentrate more on fixing an issue that is currently plaguing most of my factory lines, and that is the limited throughput of the Mark V belts. So the main goal for today will be unlocking tier 9, and then more specifically the milestone for the Mark VI conveyors. Now with that goal firm in mind, let's jump back into the game and have a quick look where we left off last time. And here we are, right in between the high-tech factory and our expanded but temporary storage system. Now, first things first, we are going to need a couple alternate recipes today. So let's go to the MAM, and the first one I'm going to grab is the flexible framework, which halves the amount of steel beams by adding rubber. Then we have something very similar with the plastic smart plating. And then finally the automated speed wiring, which actually uses high-speed connectors, which may seem a bit expensive, but it quadruples output and you don't need the crazy amounts of cable that the standard recipe needs. So it's definitely worth it in my opinion. Then let's see. Okay, infused uranium cell. If I need to go into uranium, then that is usually the way to go, since you don't need a loop with sulfuric acid being used up only partially and then looping back, and it's a bit of a nightmare or a headache to get going properly, which this recipe here helps to avoid. Then we have the instant plutonium cell, which I think has slightly decreased efficiency by, well, simplifying the production chain. So I'm not going to use that in normal playthroughs. And then the plutonium fuel unit goes the other direction. You need the pressure conversion cubes, which are somewhat complex to make, but it's more efficient overall. And then let's say the nitro rocket fuel, you don't need to make turbo fuel as an intermediary. But if you go with the efficient recipes, then the turbo fuel is actually the better way to go. And now let's just quickly grab some of that and some summer sloops, because it's now time to build our production for the space elevator parts. The first thing we need for that is actually a space elevator. So let's put that somewhere over there. Then a particle accelerator somewhere over here, I would say, connected to the elevator. This one will produce the nuclear pasta, and I'm going to summer slope and boost this to all hell. And then let's say we build the other ones over here. So I need a manufacturer, then a second manufacturer, and then a third manufacturer. Then I need 2 assemblers, and I think it's 3 manufacturers like that. So let's see if I had that. Right, so first things first, let's connect these here. So, then this one here is going to produce the thermal propulsion rockets, which need the modular engines. Which themselves need the smart plating. And all of that is going to be boosted entirely. So that's the first chain. Then next up we have the field generators, which need the versatile framework. And that's already that chain. And then we have finally the directory assembly system, which needs... Wait, let me connect this to the correct one there. The adaptive control units. And those need the automated wiring, which is where the last of those here comes into play. Now all of this here will need power, so let's just see if we can... That's a bit too far apparently. So hopefully I can reach everything from here. It's crazy how much you can power with just one Mark III power pole. And that's already all of those here. So now let's grab the power from somewhere. For example, where do we have it? Over there. Now all of this is powered, and the last part is just grabbing the required materials and, where necessary, put them into some additional containers. Just like this here. And now we just need to wait until all of this here has been processed, and the next memory search is waiting to go. Now let's start that up. But as I was saying, while we're waiting on all of this here to be processed, I could make my way over to this general area here, because there's something I would like to get my hands on over there. Okay, it looks like I won't even need to go that far into the cave system. I already found what I'm looking for. And that is some uranium. Namely, I need exactly 15 of that, and that is all I will require. Maybe I should grab a few more of those filters though. So, and now I just need to make my way back to the main base. Which is roughly in this direction there. Oh, come on. Oh. Hopefully this one will not be able to follow me too far. I have no intention of this one. Yeah, okay, it spawned. Okay, good. Good. Okay, no danger anymore. So, now I can grab the proper floating device again. And now I need, quickly, a manufacturer. And that one is going to be set to the infused uranium cell. And I also found some sulfur lying around, so that is very nice indeed. I need some silica and some quick wire, so let's quickly grab that and that, and then let's put those two into position. And then, this is already full of power. Let's grab the power from here for now. And let's boost this. So, now for what do I need those? Well, I still have a memory search I would like to work on, and that is in the sulfur tree, the last one, which is this one here. And I am also pretty low on the nobelisks. So, yeah, I'm going to quickly craft a couple of those up. I should have the gunpowder or black powder or what it's called over there in the train station, and well, the steel beams or steel pipes aren't really an issue. I have more than enough of those. And a few minutes later, the research is once again done. Which means I can grab the encased uranium cells. So let's grab all of this here. And then I can unlock this nuke nobelisk here. And I should probably try to get rid of the radioactive components ASAP. So let's put down a container here for a moment. And then this one here. And this one here. And I'm clear again. I might as well clear out the garbage I collected over the recent time. This can all go. Okay, cleared out. Perfect. So, now, let's grab the actual research.
Nuke Nobelisk unlocked. This Nobelisk uses a nuclear fission reaction to generate a massive explosion. Ensure all FICSIT employees are clear of the blast zone before detonation. You probably should not use this. I am not joking. No refunds available. Side effects include glowing, growing extra limbs, liquefied skin, unexpected cravings for flesh, itching scalp, hair loss, finger loss, loss in general, indigestion, and flatulence. Please consult your weapons manufacturing facility if symptoms persist beyond the half-life of uranium-238.
For those who don't know, that half-life is in the million years range or something like that. Okay. Okay, we're done with the research. So let's grab some of those again, so we are not wasting time. Instant scrap greatly simplifies the production, but is very inefficient, so not something I'm going to use ever. Coated iron canister, this can be quite useful if you don't have crude oil available and you want to make canisters. This can be a good recipe. Then steel canisters, similar idea, just with steel. Then let's grab the steel screw. Relatively efficient, but usually I try to avoid screws in general. And the steel cast plate, I'm not really sure it's worth wasting steel just to get more plates. So, yeah, that is not a recipe I usually use. Okay. That. Oh, and I just saw we are also done with the particle accelerator here. We don't need that part for now. So, some more for the garbage bin, I guess. This one here I'm not going to throw away. That is all going to be used later on. Okay, then let's just put that into storage again. And apparently the storage has already started to fill up quite nicely for things like cooling systems. Okay, that is very good to see. Now, seeing that we still need to wait a little bit until all of the materials have been produced, I think I'm going to start preparing for later on, which means we need to make our way over to the power plant. And the first thing I'm going to do over here is actually getting rid of this old setup for concrete production. I already stopped the miner quite a while ago when I was here the last time. So this here should be pretty empty already. Just need to basically get rid of, oops, carefully that I'm not removing too much. So this also means I will get some of those Mercer-spheres back, and the rest is not overly interesting, I guess. Oh, there was still a little bit of this garbage lying around. That doesn't really matter much. Okay, so now with that cleared up, it's time to talk about what I want to build over here. Well, I want to produce my diamonds later on, which is something that will be unlocked with tier 9. And I think I'm actually going to build this over there. But for the diamonds, I am going to need a lot of, and that depends on the recipe I need or use, but I'm going to go with one that needs coal, and a lot of coal. So I have 4 normal nodes here, that is half of the coal I need. And if I go on the map, there is another pure node here, and another pure node somewhere over there, and I will need those 2 as well as the 4 nodes down here. So the next step is just building, again, a walkway from over here to those 2 nodes. And for now I'm going to go with a Mark 5 build, but once available, those will obviously also be upgraded to Mark 6. But that is going to be a bit tricky since the terrain is, well, as you can see, the opposite of flat. So that is going to be rather interesting, I guess. And a good while later, both miners are now in place and also properly connected to the walkway with the 2 conveyors, which already run all the way to the floor of my power plant somewhere over there. Now, until I have them upgraded to Mark 6, I'm going to leave the walkways open, but the Mark 5 should be enough for right now, nevertheless. I also had an interesting idea on where I would place my particle accelerators, but I'm going to talk about this a bit later. For now, let's concentrate on getting miners on top of the 4 normal core nodes, which can be found over there. And with that now done, and a quick look to the top right corner, I would say it's high time to make our way back to the main base. And here we go, the space elevator is now ready. The production lines that are no longer needed have been cleaned out, and the materials are currently being sunk. And yeah, now let's see what this phase is about. So, sealing the materials, and I guess we're going to get another presentation by Ada.
Welcome to the Pioneers Got Power Problems presentation. That was a joke. Anyway, you're familiar with the process. Just throw the lever and the automated systems will take over. Imagine all the time and effort that would be wasted if you had to do all that work as well. Some work is just better suited for machines. Phase 5 contains technology the human brain cannot comprehend, so just trust in me and FICSIT policy and everything will go as planned. Answering all your questions will take time we simply do not have. Everything is going to be just fine, so long as you do your job. We've come this far together after all, haven't we? Anyway, you know what to do. Just don't forget to keep producing previous project parts, and plan ahead when setting up new production lines, and make sure not to leave it all until the last moment.
Still not telling us what this is all about. I have my guesses, but I guess we'll have to wait with that for a little bit longer. And send off. And we have the next achievement. Very nice indeed. So, send off. And with that... Oh, actually, almost forgot about this part.
Phase 4 of project assembly completed. If style was measured in my performance reports, yours would be something special. Regardless, saving the day is within our grasp. Do not lose focus now. You must understand the weight on your shoulders, but you are not alone. I am here, and I know exactly what's at stake. This goes beyond Earth. Your actions will affect the universe at large. You might think I am exaggerating. Perhaps you will understand once you finish project assembly. Phase 5 awaits. I expect your best work.
Still not telling us everything, huh? Yeah. So, anyway, let's make our way back to the hub all the way over there, because I would like to unlock the next milestone over here in tier 9, and that is meta conversion, which gives us the converter, and then FICSIT and Trigon, and interesting. Already unlocked those through the MAM. And diamonds and time crystals. Those are all going to be very, very important. So, anyway, I have everything I need already in the inventory, I guess. So, that is looking good. And that's meta conversion.
Milestone reached. The converter uses strange alien matter, abbreviated to SAM, to break down and transform materials at their most fundamental levels. I am sure even you can appreciate the power to manipulate atomic bonds. Most importantly, you are now able to locally create FICSIT, a highly adaptable synthetic metal, ideal for any kind of construction. It is everything we need to save the day, and perhaps its admirable qualities can inspire you.
Okay, good. Now for MAM research. Time to start with the next few bits of that. And now before I get back to the power plant, I should set up a production of the FICSIT Trigons, since they will be needed for quite a bit in the nearest future. So, let's first grab one of those converters, and I can build a good number of them, but I only need one for right now. So, that one goes... let's put it just here. And that is going to produce the FICSIT out of aluminium, which means that I'm going to need the aluminium ingots and the... Is it here? Yeah, here the reanimated SAM. One over there. Let's just quickly grab that and put that in there. The aluminium ingots I will grab from somewhere over there. This will take a little bit longer, but for now we are also going to need a couple constructors. I think it's 3 per converter in this case. So then I need a splitter and another splitter. And then I can remerge everything. Again, quick and dirty is the motto of the day. Then I'm going to need a container. And then a depot uploader. And this one here is already set. Then I just need to set these here to the trigons. And they will need power. And as I said, I still need to grab the aluminium from somewhere over here. Just need to find it. So, sure I already used this? Let's see. Here we have the aluminium ingots. They make their way in here. Then go up there and over here. Okay. So, as before, quick and dirty. Just going to make my way so here. And then in there. And there we go. Now we have some FICSIT available, which means we only need to worry about the diamonds now. So, let's make our way back to the power plant. Except before making my way over there, I decided to check if I have all of the materials I'm going to need. And it turns out I'm very low on the radio control units, so I went ahead and turned off all of the factories that need them, so the pressure conversion cubes and the supercomputers, and over here the turbo motors, and also Summers looped the production of the radio control units, which I also manually fed some crystal oscillators. So hopefully that should be enough to get this done quickly enough. But with that out of the way, it's now really time to make my way over to the power plant. So now that we're back over here, it's time to talk about the next few steps in my plan. Basically, my idea is to take the coal from there and here, together with the turbo fuel which is currently being produced in excess, to turn it into diamonds and then the diamonds into time crystals. For that, I am going to need some space, and my best idea currently is to put it below the power towers, for which I will have to move the bottom layer of the power towers to the very top, which is not much of an issue since this here is built modular in the first place. For that, I am also going to need an empty inventory, which, as you can see, is cleared out since I moved everything I had into those storage boxes here. Yeah, and with that, let's quickly have a look at my map. So you can see I am done with researching because, yeah, there is not much left over. So the recipe I'm actually going to need here are the turbo diamonds. This is the fastest recipe for the diamond production with the least amount of particle accelerators needed. Of course, it needs turbo fuel, so that is a bit of a difficult setup, but it's way more efficient than, for example, the oil-based diamonds, which, yeah, use a lot of oil to produce a little bit of diamonds. So then we also have, let's see, cloudy diamonds. Add limestone again to reduce the amount of coal. Petroleum uses petroleum coke. Already a bit more efficient, but yeah, turbo fuel is better in my opinion. And the pink diamonds use quartz instead of limestone, or instead of coal in this case. So Yeah, if you have quads over, that might be an idea, but otherwise not really. Then we have the automated miner, which is the only way to produce miners automatically, but you don't need them that much, so I don't see a reason for that. Then the crystal computer, yeah, boost production with crystal oscillators can be an idea if you need a lot of those. And then over here, molded steel, using concrete to use less steel, also an option. And yeah, that is... of course, I don't have any hard drives right now. Should obviously grab those. And yeah. Now, as I said, it's time to move the modules from the bottom to the very top. And that should be definitely enough height to work with. Now, next up, let's have a look at the MAM again. So over here, I already talked about those two, so doesn't really matter much. And then over here we have the iron pipe, which, if you don't have coal, is a good recipe, but otherwise it's a bit of a waste in my opinion for iron. And that leaves us with basically just two recipes to worry about. Now, next up, let's build a foundation for the 8 particle accelerators I need, and I have a nice long corridor here which should be wide enough to put them lengthwise in here. So basically like so, or maybe like so. And yeah, that should be long enough. So let's quickly get the foundation in place. So, turns out I only have enough space for the particle accelerators, but not the converters. So, the new plan is just producing the diamonds here, which are then moved via the train to the main location where they will be converted. And over there I definitely have enough space. So, that is my new plan. Nevertheless, let's get started with particle accelerator. So, this one here in the middle and then one over. And yeah, that fits perfectly into this area. And to get the conveyors in, I'm going to have them clip halfway in, like so, and over here. Fortunately, I don't have to deal with liquids or gases in this case. So I only need the lift, and if I put them in there like so, they merge nicely with the outer border. And if I go in there, you can also see that I can easily access them from the inside without obvious clipping. So that is going to work, I guess. Now, where do I get the materials from? Well, obviously I'm going with the turbo diamonds, so that means I need the coal, which I can grab from over there, and the other half from all the way over there. And the turbo fuel is currently all going in this storage container, and then the overflow is being sunk. So all I need to do is add a smart splitter beforehand, and then I can make use of that for the turbo diamonds. So about an hour later, this is finally running. I'm still not 100% happy with how I had to squeeze all of those conveyors in this limited space down there, but at least it's now working. Of course, all of those here needs to be upgraded to Mark 6 still, so I'm going to keep all of this here open since we should have those available pretty soon. Okay, now with that out of the way, we have our first few bits of diamond coming in, so I guess it's time to make our way once again back to the main base and then make a temporary setup to get some time crystals for the Mark 6 conveyors. And just a few minutes later we are getting our first load of diamonds coming in, so let's just wait until the animation is through. And yeah, now you can see we have diamonds, and yeah, that means it's time for the converters. So for that I'm just going to quickly grab that one from over there and then just put them here in a row. Let's say like this, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that should be enough. I think I put my... Yeah, I put my power shards in there. So let's grab a few of those and overclock these here to the max. Wait, this was the wrong button. I wanted to copy. Yep, that's looking good. Now I need a couple splitters. Put that there and here and here. Mark 4 belts are the maximum I actually need here, since I only have 480 diamonds coming in at the maximum anyway, or at least I would if I had the Mark 6 belts. And now I just need to merge all of this here onto one line. Then I'll grab a container, put an uploader on top. Then let's deal with the power. And that's all of them powered. Now I just need to deal with the input, which is over here. It should be, I believe this one. Yep, this is the correct one. Mark 4 belt. Then I'm just going to go directly to where I have my converters. And that should be all I need over here. So let's worry about the next milestone. So I do need some FICSIT trigons, and okay, that is not overly difficult. So 250. You know what? I'm going to clear out my inventory just a tiny bit. So let's grab some storage boxes. These should be enough. Now that's that part done. Then I have this one here. And then I have these here and these here. So rest can remain. So that is going to be needed for a lot more of those converters later on. So I was working on the next milestone. So I do need iron plates, and that's actually a lot of iron plates I need for that. And also aluminium sheets. Yeah, that is not going to fly actually. I don't think that is enough. Yeah, about half of that and fifth of that. That is not looking too good. Yeah, nevertheless, I should be able to get all the sheets I need back over at my refinement facility where the other train station is. And... oh, wait, not here. The train station is over here already, so let's grab that over here. So that should be all of the aluminium. Now the iron plates are a bit more annoying. I will have to see where I can get those in these numbers quickly. Nevertheless, yeah, this is also going to take a little while. Let me just check where I can scrounge up some more iron plates, and once I have everything I need, I'll come back to you. And in the end, I didn't have to wait for too long. So, anyway, it's time to unlock the Mark 6 conveyor belts.
Milestone reached. After close scrutiny, 2 problems were identified in Mark V conveyor belts. The first was the belt part, so force fields have been implemented in the Mark VI instead, to maximize transfer speeds. The second problem is inefficient pioneers, but sadly no remedy is available for this severe impediment. Yet.
I'm not sure I like it this yet at the end there. Anyway, now I have the Mark VI belt. Next one again, that would be, yeah, definitely quantum encoding. On a side note, I reactivated the factories for the turbo computers, pressure conversion cubes, and supercomputers again. So I'm getting those. Actually, let's check. Okay, turbo motors still need a little bit longer. Yeah, I can't do this right now, so the next step would be actually upgrading all of the Mark V belts to Mark VI that need it. But that is going to be a slightly longer project, and looking on the clock, that is definitely something for the next episode. And that brings us to the actual end of this episode here. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, share, and comment. It really helps the algorithm. Independent of that, I wish you a nice day, and well, see ya.